Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Zeelicious cooking series. Today I have something very special for you. This one's actually for the mothers and their kids. It's back to school season, guys, and Power Oil has sent me here to share with you guys some healthy and mouth-watering back to school recipe ideas for mothers to serve their kids with this back to school season. I know that one of the major things that a lot of mothers actually worry themselves with or concern themselves with is what to serve in their kids' lunch boxes. And I just thought it best to come here and show you how to put together your kids' lunch boxes with different meals in it. I'm going to be giving you 3 different lunch box meal ideas that you can just inculcate into your repertoire of recipes. Now, again, I said this one's for mothers and their children. So before we go into the kitchen and begin the meal prep, I just want to share with you tips that will help make lunch box meal prep a lot easy. You know, in the morning when you wake up and you're thinking of getting the children ready for school, you are thinking of packing their lunch boxes, you're thinking of even getting yourself ready for school, whether you are a mom or a dad doing this. I know that you can make use of some tips that can just make the work a whole lot stress-free. And I just want to share that first before we go into the kitchen to do the main cooking process. And the very first one would be write a weekly or a monthly meal plan that fits your child or your children's dietary needs. So it's easier to actually meal prep or cook the food when you have a plan. So don't just wake up the morning off and say, okay, what am I going to cook? What am I going to cook? It's so tedious that way and you get really stressed out doing that. So it's always best to have a meal plan handy. So at the beginning of the week or at the beginning of the month, depending on what works best for you, just take some time out, maybe 10-20 minutes and do a food table, writing out the meals that your kids will be eating per time. Now, I'm not saying you would strictly go and abide by the meals per day, but it will just give you a guide and an idea of what to make per day, and then you can now take some time to plan the meals or purchase the ingredients or all the things that you've been needing beforehand, so that on the day off you are not worrying yourself or stressing yourself out. And then of course you can make the meals beforehand, the things that you need to prep ahead of time, maybe the night before, or the things you need to prep like for a long period and just keep in the fridge, and then the day off you just bring it out and put it all together and boom, you have your lunch ready in 5-10 minutes. So just do a lot of planning, write the meal plan, plan the ingredients, meal prep ingredient prep as much as possible. Do what you can do beforehand so that on the day off, things are made so easy for you. That's one trick that actually really works. I don't have a child yet, but I have nephews and I have nieces, and these are tips that have actually worked for my brothers and my sisters. Another thing is pay attention to what your kids love. Now, kids actually love different things. Sometimes you have to force them to eat something that you know is good for them. Sometimes you have to train them into loving something. Whatever it is, just pay really close attention to what they love so that you know that whatever you're packing for them in their lunchbox is what they would actually eat. You don't want, I think it's every mother's or every parent's nightmare when they pack a lunchbox for their kids and then the kids return with the lunchbox not touching it, and you wonder what your kids ate all day. So it's not okay that your kids would not eat lunch. So you just ensure that whatever it is you're packing for them is something that they definitely would want to eat that day, okay? Something else that I would also advise that you do is buy beautiful, colorful bento boxes or lunch boxes. These are attractive, and the kids actually love things that are very attractive. Kids love things that are very colorful. Kids love things that are very cartoony. So just buy like really beautiful bento boxes to help them to pack their meals in. And I tell you that the kids would actually really love and enjoy eating the meals, okay? Now, the reason I said that you should really buy colorful lunch boxes for your kids is you don't want to spend all of that time in the morning prepping the meals and then your child comes back and they didn't eat the food. And so one of the things that actually encourages kids to eat the food would be to make the box or even the meals that you're putting in it very colorful and attractive and easy for them to eat, so that way when they open it, they're excited at what they are seeing, and then they just get in there and dive in and they just finish and consume the whole thing. The next point on my list is ensure that everything in your child's lunch box contains the 6 components of a balanced diet. Remember that your children are growing at this time and they need all of the nutrients that they can get into their body: carbohydrate, protein, fat and oil, minerals, vitamins, and water. Now, fiber is also included, so ensure that you just have bits and bits of all of these 6 classes of a balanced diet in their box. Trust me, it really helps. And then it also helps with the looks and the aesthetics of the of the lunchbox and just makes everything really colorful, okay? The next point on my list is make sure the meals or the food items that you put in the box are ready to eat. Don't put in the box something that will stress your child or your child has to struggle. Maybe you put an orange there, you don't peel it. So you need to peel the orange, de-seed it, remove all of the seeds before you put it in there. If you're making a sandwich, for example, cut the sandwich into tiny bits so that it's just easy for the child to just handle and put in their mouth without having to tear or grab something really big. So just ensure that everything you put in the lunchbox is ready to eat, because they're still children and you don't want your kids struggling during lunchtime, okay? And the last one is actually really kind of connected to the previous one I just mentioned. Just serve the meals in smaller portions. You don't want to stress your children and overfeed them and overload their bodies with food. So just little portions and little tiny bits of everything. Trust me, it will fill them up. And then of course, always pack their water bottles. Ensure that you're fully hydrated at all times. Okay, with all of that being said, let me share with you 3 back-to-school lunchbox recipe ideas that you can inculcate into your repertoire of back-to-school recipes. The first back-to-school recipe is made up of a simple egg sandwich as the main meal, some vegetable sticks, creamy dip, and nuts as the snack, and watermelon juice as the drink of choice. Now for this sandwich, we'll be making use of some eggs, some mayo, and bread slices, and that's all we'll be using. Place the eggs in a pot of water and boil for about 8 to 10 minutes until they are nice and hard boiled. Allow it to cool down completely, then peel off the shell and set it off to the side. Afterwards, give the eggs a good chop by using a chopping board and a knife to just run through until they are cut up into very tiny bits. Then transfer them to a bowl and add the mayo. Mix everything together to combine and then set it off to the side as well. Place the bread slice on a flat surface and then top with the egg mixture. Ensure that the entire surface of the bread slice is covered with this egg mixture. Okay, now cover the egg mixture with another bread slice to form a nice sandwich. Now, because this is for kids, it's always advisable to cut it up into tiny bits to make it easier for them to enjoy it, okay? So I'm just cutting this up with a serrated knife into 3 or 4 pieces. Depending on how old your child is, just ensure that you just cut it up into really tiny bits, okay? If you want to take things up a notch, generously coat 2 bread slices with some butter and then flip it over to the other side. Then on the side without the butter, place the egg mixture on one of the bread slices. Then cover the egg mixture with the other bread slice, ensuring that the butter side is facing up. Now I'm coating my sandwich maker with some power oil, pure vegetable oil. Then I'll go ahead to place the bread on the sandwich maker and allow the sandwich maker do its magic. This is exactly what it should look like afterwards. Slice it up to make it more enjoyable for the kids, okay? Now, my personal preference is this toasted sandwich, but anyone works. Whichever you decide to do works, just that the toasted sandwich actually takes a little more time to make, okay? Since it's very important for the kids to enjoy some fruits and vegetables every day, I'm cutting up some cucumber and carrots into tiny strips to place in the lunchbox, and this will serve as the snack of choice. Now, you can go ahead and use your kids' favorite fruits or your kids' favorite vegetables. At this point, you know your kids better, so just use whatever it is that they like and just place it in their lunchbox for them, okay? But just ensure that their lunchbox always has some fruits and vegetables in it, okay? Now, to assemble everything, it's always advisable to use a very colorful lunchbox with compartments, because I'm pretty sure that your kids also love to eat with their eyes first, and it's also very important to just have everything that they're eating in one plate so that they can just have an overview of it and know exactly what to pick and what to nibble on per time, and they know exactly the quantity of what they're supposed to consume. It actually also helps them with the eating experience. Okay, now place the egg sandwich on one side of the lunchbox, followed by the veggie strips in another compartment. Now I'm going to be adding some Greek yogurt to one of the compartments, and then this Greek yogurt will serve as the dip for the veggie strips, okay? And then I'm also adding some nuts as well. Now the nuts are optional. You need to be very careful to be sure that your kids are not allergic to nuts. But if they are not, just put their favorite nuts. I'm using some almonds and peanuts here, but just put their favorite nuts for them in the plates. Because it's also important that the kids enjoy some fruits as well, I made a simple watermelon juice that will pair nicely with the sandwich. And that's it, guys. Now, one major advice that I'd like to give is, once you're done packing up your kids' lunchbox, explain to them what's in the lunchbox and what you have made, and the importance or the value of everything you've put in a lunchbox to their body. That way, when they're eating with awareness, and they know exactly the impact of whatever they're eating will have on their body. So you need to explain everything to them. That way they get to eat everything that you've put on the plate, knowing exactly what it's doing for them in their body. This is pretty simple, right? It literally took all of 20 minutes to put this together. I think your kids deserve this love. The second lunchbox meal idea is equally as interesting and as simple as the first one. Now we're going to start by drizzling some oil into a pan and then allow it to heat up. Saute some onions and pour in the tomato pepper blend and mix all of that together. I also added some tomato paste to add some flavor and some color to this dish. Season it lightly with your seasonings of choice. I'm not going to go into details on how I made this, because I know I have several pasta recipes on my channel, so you can check that out later. So just season it with your favorite seasonings of choice and then mix everything together to combine and leave to fry for 5 to 6 minutes. Now afterwards, add the cooked macaroni and mix everything again to combine. Now I use macaroni because kids absolutely love their macaroni, guys. They do not joke with it, okay? Cover it and then leave it to cook for another 2 minutes before taking it off the heat. Now for snacks, I'm also just cutting up some grapes into half, and then I'm also cutting some apples into strips as well. Again, just to make the eating experience more easy and enjoyable for the kids. To assemble this, again, I'm going to be using a colorful but a simple lunchbox. Place the macaroni in one compartment, and then I'm also adding some hard-boiled eggs as well as my protein of choice. But you can use meat or you can use fish depending on what your kids like, okay? Now I'm adding some cracker biscuits. I'm adding the apple and the grapes, and then some nuts as well as the snack of choice for this particular meal. And then again, I'm using the watermelon juice as the drink. But you can use any fruit or vegetable juice of your choice at this point, or whatever it is, whatever juice you think that your child likes, but just ensure that it's natural and it is very fresh, okay? This second one was very easy peasy as well. And then of course you can make this in literally less than 20-25 minutes if you know exactly what you're doing. And then leftovers will also come in handy, but just ensure that the leftovers are in very good condition, okay? The third lunchbox idea is made up of pancakes, a simple strawberry syrup, oranges, and coconut chips. Now, who doesn't love pancakes? In a bowl, just add some all-purpose flour, baking powder, baking soda, some sugar, and a sprinkle of salt. Mix everything together to combine. Then crack open 1 egg, and then also pour in some milk as well. Again, I'm not going to go into details with this recipe. I have a pancake recipe on my channel. You can check it out later. But if you want a pancake recipe, you can leave me a comment in the comment section down below, okay? Now mix everything together to combine. I also drizzled some power oil to keep the batter nice and moist. Mix it again to combine. Now afterwards, generously coat a pan with more oil and allow it to heat up slightly. Then pour in the batter in small scoops, enough to fit the pan without overcrowding it, okay? Brown on one side, and when it starts to bubble and create holes at the top, you know that it is ready. Just flip it over to the other side and allow it to brown as well. Now take it out of the pan and place it on a plate. Continue with this process until you've exhausted all of the batter. Now to assemble, place the pancake on one side of the lunchbox. I'm also going to be serving the pancake with a simple store-bought strawberry jam. You can make yours at home if you want, or you can use some honey syrup for this as well, or maple syrup, anyone works. I'm also adding some oranges, which I have peeled and de-seeded. Remember to remove all of the seeds as well, because kids are the ones eating this, okay? And then cut it up into tiny bits to make the eating enjoyable for the children. Finally, I'm adding some coconut chips, and I'm using a packet drink. It's a packet soy milk as the drink of choice for this recipe. And that's it, guys. Very easy peasy. Do not forget to also pack up enough water for your kids in their water bottles so that they stay hydrated all day long. And that's it, moms and dads. I hope you found this video very helpful. And if you did, please do not forget to like it and of course share with your family and friends so that they too can learn how to make something good as well. You guys remember that you can still pre-order a copy of my new cookbook, Winnie's Sizzling Selections. It's the only cookbook that you'll be needing to level up on your healthy eating journey this year. Has over 100 recipes, from plant-based recipes to detox recipes to low-carb recipes to comfort food recipes. The list goes on and on and on, and you definitely would want to own a copy. So head over to the website, the link will be in the description box down below, and order a copy or 2 or 3 or more for yourselves and your loved ones, okay? Alright guys, I'll see you next time with another mouth-watering and delicious recipe. Until then, remember to be very kind to one another, love yourselves generously, and it's me, the queen of fun and fast cooking, signing out right now. Take care, guys!